Welcome back to Glan Y Gors Park in North Wales. As you can see, the number 8 Mirabelle isn't racing today, but she's got a darn good view. Here's someone who is, though. Well, Matthew, it's been a really good start to the year from you in the 2017 season. It couldn't really have started any better.
No, that was pretty good race, to be fair. I also had the pace yesterday, so I was going into quite confident today. But I was a bit lucky in that race because I think they were battling behind, so created a bit of a gap, and I just focused on trying to nail some consistent laps. Luckily, it was consistent all the way through, so looking quite strong. Pretty happy with that. So.
And the whole year as a whole has started brilliantly because you got the clean sweep of podiums at Shennington and now a race win here in the earlier heat. Can we get this job done again in the final?
Well, that's the game. That's the goal anyway. So yeah, last round out was pretty consistent. I didn't quite have enough to get any higher up than third place, but no, third place consistent throughout the day, so that got some good points. And hopefully, like I say, if I keep the momentum going, then obviously we'll nail the final. Hopefully.
And here you seem to have a bit of an edge in terms of raw speed. You seem to like this place, and the kart seems to handle really well underneath you.
Yeah, I love this track. It's awesome. Most people call it the spa of karting, and I pretty much agree. So yeah, absolutely love this track. Awesome. So yeah, always happy to come here.
So you're not going to give up that podium if you've got any chance?
No, definitely not. Definitely not. I'm going to fight all the way. So.
Good job, Matthew. We'll look forward to seeing it.
Yeah, thank you very much. Cheers.
Well, Matthew Pearce did take the heat win earlier on, but in the pre-final he ended up 4th as Richard Evans, Sam Faulkner and Amy Jurger all swept through. Tom Snape and Baldwin are on the 3rd row of the grid from Bradbury and Hudman. David Darling and John Corrie are on 9th and 10th on the grid. And Elliot Stanley is in front of Will Checkley. Depleted field this weekend, but that is largely due to the fact that the A-level season is well underway. So most of the young guns on the grid are elsewhere cramming for their exams. Well, these guys have obviously done all their homework and they're out ready to race. Here is the field on the left-hand side of your screen. You'll see the details of all the drivers. Sam Faulkner needs to get his season back on track after a lackluster weekend at Shennington. He's not at the front end of the grid in the point standings, but he's gone straight into the lead in the first corner of this one. And off the road goes Matthew Pearce. Matthew Pearce goes off the road just as he's trying to get himself back to the front. He got squeezed out there as he's battling away with Richard Evans and Amy Jurger at the front, and Tom Snape has definitely gone through. And I think also through as well has gone the 290. That is James Baldwin, so he's got through. Beautiful start though from Sam Faulkner. That's the first time he's hit the front all weekend. We talk about Sam Faulkner as being the favourite for a championship, but he did a fantastic job in the clean sweep at Wilton Mill, but at Shennington he was practically nowhere. So he's going to have to work incredibly hard to make sure that he gets the job done here. 2nd place for Richard Evans. 3rd position, Amy Jurger, who won the final last time at Shennington. No matter what Richard Evans threw at her, she was unbeatable. So as they come out of turn 1, up the hill once again, the 290 of Baldwin. This is the best result for him so far if he can stay there in 4th position. Snape and Pearce battling away. Now, the fastest driver this weekend, I think you couldn't really argue with this, is Matthew Pearce. In testing yesterday and in qualifying this morning, he was the fastest. So over 1 lap, he is the man to beat. And in the heat, he won pretty convincingly, it has to be said. But in the pre-final, it all fell away as the drivers started to catch up with him. Now he's there in P6, trying to get one over, first of all, on Tom Snape, and then it'll have to be on Baldwin. Jason Bradbury's not doing badly on this one either. He's up into 7th position, just in front of, that looks to me like David Darling is up the inside there. That's Jay Hudman making a move. And also up the inside goes Tom Snape, as he gets the move on the inside of Pearce, battling away. Pearce is coming back at him. So Pearce is going to dive up the inside. That'll do nicely. Into P5 he goes. They were swapping positions, those two, Pearce and Snape, and they've managed to sort themselves out. Now that is the number 4 in there, Elliot Stanley, who's finally having a stronger weekend in the 2017 season. His first 2 weekends were pure misery, the number 4 seed. So Elliot Stanley back into a good position. Let's see what he can do as he continues to battle away for position. So down the hill they go once more. And this is Sam Faulkner having a good run in the lead of proceedings. So Faulkner leads the way, Evans in 2nd, Jurger in 3rd. And these 3 have all been race winners this year, don't forget. Faulkner won all 3 races last time we had the cameras out, I should say, at Wilton Mill. As Jurger goes up the inside of Evans, she left that very late, but that was a very strong move. She's going to show exactly the same sort of flair, potentially, that she showed last time out at Shennington. She put some absolutely incredible moves on Richard Evans a few weeks ago. The cameras weren't there, sadly, to see it, but she won the final in brilliant style last time out. She'll want to go after Sam Faulkner. Now, earlier in the day, of course, Sam Faulkner really struggled to shake off Amy Jurger. Jurga. If she saved her best for last, she could catch Sam Faulkner and win the race. In terms of one lap overall pace, Faulkner is not the fastest driver out there, so I would not be surprised if he doesn't disappear out into the distance and leave them all for dead. Now, David Darling's got back past Jay Hudman, and John Corrie and Will Checkley are still running around behind them. Will Checkley's had an entertaining weekend. He said earlier on today, "I'm loving the racing here. I just wish there was a few more drivers because the guys in front of me are just too good. I can't keep up with them." Will Checkley currently in 12th position, but he had the save of the weekend earlier on the second lap, I think, of the pre-final. He lost the back end, went over the grass, the kart went sideways twice, once to the right and once to the left, and how he kept it pointing in a straight line, I'll never know. But Will Checkley, some great driving from him this weekend regardless. Look, Jurga's already caught up to the back of Faulkner. Whoa, Tom Snape's going for a bit of a bucking bronco out of the final turn. You can always tell the drivers that have nailed that last corner right and those that haven't, because they start to jockey out of position. And at that final turn, you need the slightest bit of curb. As Fangio would have described it, all it needs is a whisper as Elliot Stanley dives up the inside of Jason Bradbury to move into P7. So that would be a good position for Stanley to pick up the pieces of his rather unfortunate start to the season. He needs to keep banging in those points, and this is a much better showing. But look, Jurga right on the back of Faulkner. There's not much in it at all, and Faulkner, no matter how hard he pushes, he just can't get away from the field. He's got a reasonably good package underneath him this time. They can't quite figure out what it is that's keeping Sam Faulkner back either. This is the strange thing. He was dominant last year at the rounds that he was competitive at in the elites last year. The only reason he lost the championship, of course, because he missed a meeting, and he couldn't use that as a dropped score, so he lost the championship to Kieran McCulloch in the end. But this year he was expected to dominate. Well, he did that at Wilton Mill, but last time at Shennington he was really struggling, didn't really finish in the top three once all weekend. And here at Glan Y Gors Park, this is the first time he's actually led the race all meeting. So he's doing his best, and Jurga and Evans are giving him a lot of pressure, so he's hanging on as well as he possibly can. But this is turning into a really difficult season so far for Faulkner, a lot harder than he thought it would be. So here they come, Snape still in front of Baldwin. That's Jay Hudman in the 3 in front of John Corrie and Will Checkley as they battle for the lower positions. Sam Faulkner being reined in by Ami Jurga though. Jurga's pushing hard. They drop down the hill once again. Now, Ami Jurga has been a very smooth operator in 2017. She's not been reckless. She's just been completely solid in every single way. When she makes an overtaking move, she knows exactly when to pull it off, and she makes sure she can get the move done before she actually goes for it. And here she comes very close into Faulkner. She's gained a lot of time through there. Evans isn't far away yet either. Out of the final turn, look, Faulkner's really struggling. He goes wide on the curbs there. He was lucky that Jurga wasn't willing to make the move there, because she would have made mincemeat of him on the final turn if she had. Now Faulkner, Jurga, Evans, they tighten their way round turn 3, drop down the hill once again. And this is going to be very interesting if Faulkner can hang on to this in front of Jurga and Evans. This is not the Sam Faulkner we're used to seeing, hanging on by a cliff. You can see though that Jurga is really starting to put pace on the back for Sam Faulkner, and defending well from Richard Evans. See, this is what happens when you win for the first time at a big meeting. She won the final last time at Shennington, the Monza of British karting, and winning there takes some doing. You've got to be really smart to pull that off. Richard Evans said at the end of the meeting, "I tried so hard to beat her, I just couldn't keep up with her." And obviously that's done wonders for her confidence. She's now able to go up against the best of them. This is a bit of a rerun almost, isn't it? Rewind back to 2014 when Sam Faulkner was battling away with Esme Hawkey for the Junior Championship. Well, another fast female is now taking it to Sam Faulkner. It's Ami Jurga. And it's almost a replay of what happened on the same circuit, of course, because we remember back in GYG in 2014, in the juniors, it was Faulkner versus Hawkey for a long, long time in that race. And it was actually Esme Hawkey that came out on top, I believe, at GYG that year. So as they come through the final turn, up and over the line, Sam Faulkner getting a lot of hard work. Now here's the battle behind. Matthew Pearce is on his own. Then comes Snape. Number 4, Elliot Stanley, looks to have moved up into 6th position past Baldwin. So Stanley's got himself in the top 6. Here is the chasing battle. Stanley, Baldwin. And then in 8th position, that's Jason Bradbury in front of David Darling, I believe that is. So the number 6, David Darling, still just finding his feet. He was a bit baffled to be 6th in last year's championship, but that's what consistency pays off for. He was a top 6 runner last year. He's still finding his feet, enjoying his motor racing. He races in several championships over the course of the year, but he loves racing here in birelART. He loves how close it is and how professional the meetings are run. And I think that's pretty much the echo that we get from most of the drivers in this championship. It's a fun place to race, but it's a classy place to race, and that's what makes it so much worth the winning. Now Evans has caught right up to the back of Jurga. Faulkner's tightening in as well. But here comes Jurga for another opportunity. She's not going to throw it up the inside yet. 14 minutes plus a lap is a long time, and we've still got 5.5 minutes to go, so she can't just throw caution to the winds yet. They come off the turn once again, dropping down the bus stop. So let's see if they can make this work. Evans tightens up to Jurga as Jurga hesitates a tiny bit through the right-hand part of the bus stop. And now all three of them in a line together. Matthew Pearce, look, is determined to catch them. He's almost in danger of being caught by Snape, but at the same time, he wants to pull off a Nicky Taylor. He wants to close in on the 3 leaders and charge them down. Oh, Evans had to think about Jurga there, didn't he? Really started to swarm up the inside, but Jurga was very sensible just at the point of braking. She moved the cart ever so slightly to the right, and that was enough to make Evans think twice. So he's going to have to try something else. Jurga closes right up on Faulkner, and that moment of hesitation, look, has opened up the gap to another 3-4 cart lengths back to Evans, which immediately he tightens up on through the bus stop. He's really strong here. And of course, if you get the bus stop knitted well and through the final turn, you're flat through the throttle through turn 1. Up the hill, you can get a really sweet run. So Elliot Stanley there just came into our picture, running in 6th position. Up the straight once again, through the blind crest uphill. And into turn 3. Now, is Jurga going to go for the move? Not yet. It's too soon. She's got to time it right. But that's a bit of a fluid concept at the moment, because Richard Evans does not want to be sat in 3rd position. He'll win the Jedi trophy that we give out to drivers of a certain class. Richard Evans is, of course, the reigning Jedi champion, as well as being the championship leader overall this year. And it looks as though he's going to leave the meeting still in the lead of the championship. Even if he finished 3rd position, he wouldn't lead it by much. But in this highly competitive championship, leading at all is not a bad effort. Matthew Pearce is definitely dropping Tom Snape and starting to get after the 3 leaders. Bradbury's still trying to swarm all over the back of James Baldwin to make the move for 7th position. Elliot Stanley, though, has got past them both, and he's getting away. So he's starting to think about Tom Snape. Down the hill, Faulkner, Jurga, Evans. They make the sweep through the left-handers. Up the hill towards the combination once again. 1 right, 2 rights, fast flowing, and then tightens up again for the 3rd right. Then drop down the hill through the left, the first part of the bus stop. It's a massive drop here for the right hand. You really feel it through the devil's elbow. And as they come out of the final turn, back onto the home straight again. It's a quick flick to that flat-out first corner. Snape is desperately trying to keep tabs on them, but he's slowly falling away. Faulkner's got himself a nice little gap with 3 minutes to go. It's only 2 cart lengths, but that's enough to win a race. It's certainly enough to gain a psychological edge. What's going to be interesting here is whether Faulkner has got enough in his pocket to start building a gap, or whether it's just going to be stalemate and Jurga's going to close in again. Up the hill once more. Jurga's been very good at reading his situation. This is what she did at Shenington. She sat on the gearbox of Evans for the entirety of the race, and then when she made a move, she pounced, and she made sure she was not losing that victory. It was beautifully timed and beautifully done. But is she going to do it again here to Sam Faulkner? And that really would put a feather in the cap if she could do it here. Glan Y Gors Park is the Spa of Wales, as we know, the beautiful Welsh countryside. It's given some incredible racing drivers a kickstart to great things. And Amy Jurga really starting to evolve as a racing driver now. She's joining the elite of the super elites, as it were. Up the hill, Sam Faulkner still hanging on in there. This is so unlike Sam Faulkner. We expect as soon as he gets into the lead, he just checks out onto another planet. But no, he's got Jurga, Evans, and hang on a minute, Matthew Pearce as well for company. He has pulled off the Nicky Taylor. He's catching them. So Matthew Pearce is only about, what's that, 6 cart lengths. He's taken 5-6 minutes to do it, but he is nearly on them. So Richard Evans is going to need to hurry up here and start having a look at Amy Jurga if he wants to hang on to 3rd position, because Matthew Pearce is closing in big time. Down the hill once again. Amy Jurga closing up on Sam Faulkner. Back up the hill once more. Through the first part of the combination. Through the second. Now here is the battle in the lower positions. This is still 7th position. That was Bradbury trying to close up on Baldwin, and we saw the little tussle too between John Corrie, David Darling and Jay Hudman. They're still squabbling away for the lower positions. 1 minute and 1 to go as we go across the line. By my maths, that's 3 laps to go. So over the line comes Elliot Stanley. Baldwin in front of Bradbury. They're still battling away over 7th, but Jurga again closes up. But Sam Faulkner's so good on the inside of that part of the apex. He knows how to keep the door shut. So Jurga's going to have to try something really special to get past Sam Faulkner at this rate. She's working hard. She's not losing any speed. And she's giving Sam Faulkner all the pressure in the world she can give him without expending her own tyre life, without wearing herself out. She's doing exactly what she needs to. Very calm, very smooth, very rhythmic. But Richard Evans is tightening up again, and that's leaving Matthew Pearce with more work to do with 2 laps to go. I think actually now Pearce is just a little bit too far back. He's done a good job of trying to close them down, and he has caught them up a lot. But unless these two start really getting into it, and they're starting to think about it, I'm not sure Pearce is quite going to be able to get close enough to go for the podium. But look, already Faulkner is thinking. Jurgen makes the move, doesn't go for it yet. Perhaps she should have done. You might not get a better chance there, Amy. Up the hill once more. Well, Sam Faulkner's hesitating a little bit on the apex on the inside line, trying to get a tighter line, but he costs himself a couple of miles an hour in speed to do it. That gets Jurga a little closer. We're about to go into the final lap. Time has already run down to nothing. And here we go, last lap. Can Sam Faulkner hold on in front of Amy Jurga and Richard Evans? How far is Evans going to go? Snape nearly throws the race away in the final bend there. That was very close indeed. So up the hill, here comes Faulkner. Amy Jurga, I think she's too far back to do anything. Evans has gone straight to the inside. Where did Evans pull that move from? Evans came from 1,000,000 miles back. What a sweet overtake. Amy Jurga was so busy focusing on Faulkner, she forgot there was space left open. And Evans snatches 2nd position on the final lap. So Sam Faulkner is going to get the victory. Well, finally he's going to win his 4th race of the season, but it was very hard work to get there. Sam Faulkner wins at GYG, and that's a great victory. Evans in 2nd, Jurga 3rd, from Pearce and Tom Snape. What an overtake from Richard Evans. That was the move of the weekend. Stanley comes home in front of Baldwin, Bradbury, Hudman, David Darling, John Corrie, and Will Checkley will be the last man home. But what an absolutely sensational overtake from Richard Evans. The championship leader asserts himself right at the front end. He can't quite beat Sam Faulkner today, but he did beat Jurga. What a sensational season this is turning out to be. Sam Faulkner, a race winner again, and your 4th win in the entire season. It's good to get the championship back on course.
Yeah, we had a tough day, but then in the final we all came together, so good for the championship.
And it was really difficult when the racecraft really had to work through the day. You had to kind of work your way up through the heats to put yourself in a good position.
Yeah, it's quite hard to overtake it, so once I got into the lead it was just defend really, so that was it. So
Shennington is now very much a distant memory.
Well, we're still lacking a bit of pace, but hopefully we can find it for fullback.
Well, if he does, then he's going to have a very interesting fight with Richard Evans. There's only 15 points between them in the standings now. Jurga a further 10 back. Matthew Pearce is still strong in 4th position, with Jay Hudman and James Baldwin scoring consistently this weekend at GYG. Next up, it's the Supermasters, where Sam Dimolo is also going for the hat-trick of heat, pre-final and final win.